Hi everyone, it's Sister Jenna from America Meditating Radio. I hope you've been enjoying Wiseish, which you can get live on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45. But you can also get it on demand 24/7. It's going to be your power boost for the morning. It's your daily dose for the soul. It's just going to encourage you to make the day that much more valuable. So join us. Looking forward to seeing you. Hi everyone, I'm Sister Jenna. Welcome to our special Zoom meditation segments. Look, it's no joke. Things are kind of weird. It's just weird. Pandemics, protests, job insecurity, global pause. Everyone's numb, but also everyone's searching. And they might be searching on this little gadget of Zoom in a little box. People from all over the world who don't know each other are coming together in Zoom rooms to figure out who they are, why they're here, and how to meditate. Meditation is something that we've often thought that if we make our minds empty, we've meditated. I don't believe that. I think it's important that we learn how to channel our thoughts in a right way that are connected to our vision, our goal, our spiritual attainments, our mental capacity. Then you're really meditating. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Hello, friends and everyone out there. Welcome to your Spiritual Vaccine Hour. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. Today's been okay, I hope. Hope it's been rich, full, lots of new experiences, something amazing. Today, Santosh is like totally Mr. Intoxicated. He's found a new technical way of expressing stories. And I couldn't be more happier. He is so intoxicated, he doesn't even remember how to do the show tonight. He's like, oh, sister, oh no, my head is so much everywhere else. I'm so intoxicated. I said, I love that. I told him, I love when you're like that. Because I know how much growth is happening when you discover something new, something amazing, something bright, something cheerful, something to move the story of positivity in the world forward. Isn't that what we're here about? We're here to live our lives to our best ability. And I'm so excited to talk about this new initiative Own Network has started. I'm going to show you a video in like a second where they're basically inspiring you to own your vote, to go out there and vote. We're only a little bit shy of 90 days. We can either continue with the same energy, which is fine. I have no complaints about it. Or we can change the energy. It's fine. I have no complaints about it. That's called living in Switzerland. I'm going to stay neutral because if I say anything, I'll get into trouble. Life is so funny, huh? But what I do know is that I think it's important that we look at our lives presently and see if we're okay. And what kind of leadership would we like to support the life that we are living currently, and to be very sincere and to be honest about it, and that it's fine. Everything is pre-recorded in some weird way. Everything is ordained to happen. Maybe that's why some of us go to psychics or astrologers or numerologists or gurus or sages or even folks like us, is to tell us what has been preordained. And I know that a lot of folks come and tell me what they predict after November 8th will be like, and I just leave it as it is. There are some folks that have actually said it's going to be so unpredictable that they're not able to even see it so clearly. And I thought about that can you imagine the emotions that will be swirling around in that time? And it's starting now. If you look at the news cycle in the news feed, now it's all about the vote. Forget the pandemic. Of course, job insecurity is so high. Santosh showed me, I think, what is it? Our GP, our economy has fallen like 30%? Is 30-something percent, the highest it has. And you can understand why. This has never happened before. where the whole country had to pause, including the whole world had to pause. Things are shifting, and it's not about just a person, it's about all of us. It's about all of us stepping up and rising to the call. So I want to show this video because I think the fact that it's bipartisan, it is offering you tools in how to be able to understand what your needs are, what your rights are, how to be able to go out and vote, and to make your choice, that's going to be what it is. But I think all of us now, more than ever, we're feeling a need to get more involved and more engaged in participating in our country and in our world. Enjoy this.
We find our nation on a precipice, true tipping point. Is this the moment that will finally change our country? Trying to rain on the thunder. Tell the storm I'm new. I'ma rain on this little love. Tell the sweet I'm new.
It's not a broken system. It was built to function exactly as it is.
We must respond with bold action.
This is our country too. We can build new systems that do what they should.
I'm a walk, I'm a march on the regular.
We are united. We are standing.
Follow away.
And we are going to fight this fight.
Freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. I break chains all by myself.
There is something happening across this country.
When we work and when we fight and when we march and when we speak up and when we offer solutions, we win.
I'ma keep running cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
It's always the right time to celebrate women and black women in particular.
It is an opportunity to show the nation and the world that we will act. It has been an inspiration.
You have the choice, and it is that choice that gives you power.
Vote. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
That is what we need next. Action.
Fantastic. Beautiful, isn't it? What a lovely initiative, and it's bipartisan. So you can go to ownyourvote.tv and the OWN network, and you'll get a lot of information regarding what next steps to take. Wow. They're partnering with grassroots organizations to educate everyone, especially women, on their right to vote. Don't forget what the suffragettes did and what we have been through as women in every country to be able to have our voices be shared and told, and to find a way to bring some sort of a balance into our society. I was on a call many years ago with Vice President Al Gore, and we were talking about the climate, global climate, and there was something that Vice President Gore said that has stuck with me. And he said, until women are raised up, until women are empowered, there can be no balance of the climate. There can be no energy in terms of the environment becoming more futuristic. He says, until women are empowered, global warming will continue. And I thought, wow, that was important. That was powerful. So to all the souls out there in female bodies, please become conscientious and find the tools and the information that's needed. And when you go to OWN Network, please let them know that you heard about it from here. We've already given them a little bit of a thumbs up that we were going to mention it tonight. It's important. And I like that Iyanla and everyone is involved in terms of it's education. It's education. No one's saying who to vote for, but be aware of our power to vote. There's a lot of anger everywhere right now. Everyone. You know, there's just a lot of frustration. And there's some of us who do believe that there's certain forms of anger that is healthy for you. I think sometimes when you get it out, it feels a little bit better. But there are times when you're like, I don't feel so good after I did that, right? Like, I could have just held my tongue. How can something that's just about 2 or 3 inches long get you into so much trouble? It either lies, cheats, deceives, speaks things that are so confusing, stuff that makes no sense. That little tongue in your mouth, which is governed by you, the powerful soul, you, the powerful one, can control a little 2-inch part of your body. Ain't that something? So today's topic is on how to heal the anger. You ready? Let's get this PowerPoint going. Get your pen and paper and settle. Feel free to share it with your friends and tell them to join you. It'll be good for you to participate and do it together. Call your friends, rather your family members in the house to come and join in. I think it might be useful. We all get upset once in a while. For me, maybe sometimes getting upset is to want to just be alone. You know, you get into this huff and puff, and then you just leave me. You know, you just want to be left by yourself because all your energies is absorbed. You're not getting what you want. Things are not going the way that you envision it. Maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're stressed because of something nobody knows about. You're carrying the load all by yourself. And the only thing you want is something very small, and not even that you can get. But at the end of the day, I'm in control of my emotions, not anyone else. So let's take a journey down the road right now. How do we heal anger? And what really is anger? Like, why do we get angry? Please feel free to put it in the comments list, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, or on YouTube. Why do you get angry? What's the reason behind your getting angry? Sometimes I just feel like I'm not in control of my life. It's not about controlling anyone. I've passed that in my 30s. I have no interest to control anyone. But for me, it's that I get a little bit disappointed with the fact that I'm not able to control the energy of power in me to make things happen. And that's why I find that I sometimes lose it. It's not often, but it's like I lose it and I just feel powerless. And what about you? Please feel free to put it in the comments section. Why do you get angry? Think about it. For the years that I've known Sister Gita on her spiritual journey, I've personally, she's not gotten ever angry with me. When there are times that I've seen her behind the scenes with people, she gets a little bit like, leave me alone. And I look and I go, is that Sister Gita? It's like she knows who to be strict with. It's so interesting. So sometimes I think we sort of know how to play the game as well. It's that, especially for those individuals who are, taking care of her, I think sometimes she gets a little frustrated that she doesn't seem to feel her freedom. But I don't see her anger. She'll get like, leave me alone. And I go, Sister Gita? And then she acts like she's all innocent. Like, I go, Sister Gita, you get... It's just like Happy. This is what Happy does to me when she does something wrong. She doesn't look at me. Guilt. So, why do you get angry? Has your anger ever felt useful? Did you get what you want? Was it ever useful? Interesting, right? It's a really important question to answer. Did you get what you want? Because you have to weigh out the price for your getting angry. Because it does destroy one of your greatest commodities, your peace of mind. It's the greatest asset. And do you ever feel good when you are angry? Do you feel like you're on top of the world? You're supposed to get an award for this? Most angriest person in the world. They have this saying, angry black woman. Like, okay, you get a prize for that? And I don't know why people knock that. We're going to even have a video about that shortly after, because I don't get that. We have to start to change all of these interpretations and stereotypes that we hold in our intellect without investigating it for ourselves to ask, why is this person angry? What is it that they're struggling with? So anger destroys your peace of mind. It can also ruin your relationships. Our relationships, when we get upset with the person, at least for that moment, it can spoil the relationship. Does anger ever make your relationship better? Have you had a very angry relationship with someone and you're like, this works for me? Like, oh, I do so much better when you just really make me upset. I don't know, unless you're a very unique personality, maybe that works for you, but I don't know. It's very interesting though, isn't it? Does anger make your relationships better? Okay, how does anger take care of your health and well-being? One of the things I've enjoyed in the last 2 months with my health opportunity is, let me just keep myself even more peaceful of a person than I am. And that's been beautiful. And the few occasions, like I think it was this week or so, I was just really frustrated. I think it was on the day, what was the talk on happiness? I was like, oh, of all the days to be doing happiness, this is the day Antonia gave me this topic. And I had a rough morning that day. But anyway, the energy of anger does diminish our health. And expressed anger can be even correlated to heart disease, and repressed anger, which is really dangerous, can be correlated to eczema, cancer, and even depression. That's one thing that I learned from Daddy Janki. She says, if you suppress your anger, even if it's done over a long period of time, you can carry that in another birth where you can be very depressed for no reason, even if everything around you is in perfect order. So when we get angry, we are contributing to the collective anger in the world. Did you know that? How does that feel? The state of the world today is a manifestation of our collective anger, and that's why it doesn't serve us any good to point our fingers. This one is like this one's like that. No need. So just to look at these thoughts, what is the price of anger? Destroys our peace of mind, spoils our relationships, diminishes our health, and it contributes to the collective anger in the world. The world's becoming scarier day by day because we're feeling that there's like this is just an observation, don't quote me, but yes, we want to have hope, and yes, we have hope, but there are a lot of people that aren't seeing that. There's a concern and a fear that there's certain people in positions of influence that can sway certain things in the world because of their money and because of their seat of position. And the collective, which is the 80% of the people in the world, don't have the power. It used to be that 80% of the people, when they spoke, leaders would listen and they would change and adapt to what the needs of the majority of the people wanted. Now, you can do a women's march. Leadership stays quiet. Remember the children March for Lives? When they did their massive march, government stayed quiet. Nobody said anything. With the protests, at one point it started out peacefully, but then there were tankers and tear gases and stuff sent because it was a scary time as well. But it's reached a point where people are beginning to feel powerless, but we are standing up, we're going out, we're marching, and this is why the Own Your Vote initiative will be so important. Until you shift the scales of leadership for a change of voice, then we'll get more of this and definitely a lot more interesting stories. So looking at what is anger, it's not a positive emotion. So anger is negative emotional reaction to people, situations, or circumstances, right? And it disturbs your peace of mind, and the consequences of it can be very, very harmful. Firstly, towards the self, and secondly, towards others. So many crimes have been committed because people had lost their state of emotion due to anger and did something that they regretted for decades upon decades. Many, many people that are incarcerated did something out of a state of anger or emotional despair. No logic, no clarity. And consequence of that shows itself for generations upon generations. It's an interesting vibration. It's like an eruption of a volcano. You know, you've been kind of rumbling little stuff inside. Little feelings have been irritating you little by little, but it kept bubbling more and more until that one day when you said, that's it. And every little stuff that you held inside of you in your relationship because of a circumstance or a situation just comes through that little mouth of yours. That little tongue could not control itself. Goes to show how powerful the thoughts were in the soul, sitting there in the soul very quietly, that built and built and built and built till it reached a point of explosion. It says, I can't take it anymore. And it gets angry and it throws it all up. So anger, if you practice it every day, every week, every 2 weeks, every month, it will eventually become a habit, especially when you become angry and nobody makes you accountable for it. Did you hear that talk, or is it AOC in Congress, Alexandria or Cortez? Apparently a member of Congress had spoken to her in a very derogatory manner, and she made a point on the floor in Congress that it's sad that even though he's a father and a husband, you know, he is somebody's son, that he would speak to a woman in that way. And she spoke in a way that was respectful to him, to say we all make mistakes. But imagine that we've reached such a point in our world and in our lives that you would speak to a woman with profanity in a particular place at a particular time, which goes to show that there's an atmosphere, there's an energy in the world going around that if you don't practice discernment, you're going to get the influence of that negative vibrations and you won't even know why you said it. I'm pretty sure that member of Congress regretted using those words. I would have. I mean, when I give sorrow to anyone, I feel it. But after you do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and people stay quiet, then it becomes a habit for you to say, well, this is just how I am. So anger does become a habit that we have learned over a long period of time. And in our session yesterday, we talked about habits and redoing our habits, rewiring them and changing them. So every time we get angry, we actually reinforce that habit. And that's why it's so important you check. I went over 2.5 years without feeling any inner disturbance. And one time, there's this person that just did something, and it had to do with just, again, just the behavior of this person. And I felt internally my rumble. And I went, gosh, Jen, you were going so well without feeling any irritation. And I could feel everyone. What I had attained, it was like a stack of cards, that something just collapsed. And I didn't yell. I didn't scream. My eyes didn't open up wide like I wanted to hang somebody. It was my inner world was rumbling, like, when you get that kind of a form of anger, and that just crumbled everything I was working on for 2.5 years. Then I just had to rebuild again, such is life. So in order to unlearn this habit, we have to keep practicing over a long period of time to stay at peace. The opposite to anger is peace. So I want us to go through a little exercise tonight. That's why I asked you to bring your pen and paper if it's possible. Or you could do it on your phone as well. This is like the process of anger. Can you try to go back to a situation when you became angry? And I'll give you some time, and Santosh can play some soft music if it's possible. Just a few minutes. I want you to write down the following 5 things. Right? So think of a situation when you became angry. And here are the 5 things I want you to consider. What was the initial feeling? Can you recall what your thoughts were? Can you remember the physical sensations? Did you feel like you were boiling up like a pot of hot water? Here's the best part. Do you remember what your behavior was like? Did the pots get a little bit noisier in the kitchen? Did you slam the door? Did you walk heavier and faster? Did you breathe heavier? Did your tone get louder? What was your behavior? And what was the outcome? Give you a few more seconds to contemplate on it. Okay, so interesting, right? What were your feelings, your thoughts, the behavior? How did that go? Feel free if you want to put anything in the comments section. Okay? I don't have to rush through this evening. It's a big topic. Anger's a big topic because it's become almost like a regular norm, you know. So let's look at how the pattern gets created, right? We are souls. The soul sits inside of the brain, behind the eyes. The soul carries the memories. The soul carries the ability to make decisions. The soul carries feelings. When the soul is full of its original energy of power, of wisdom, of love, of happiness, the soul doesn't need stimulation from the outside to give it excitement. It is naturally living from that sentient fullness of spirit. But when that energy starts to leave us, we start to overthink. We start to do things to stimulate feelings again, and we become more externally driven. So it can change the motive of our thinking and the way that we think. So I want you to always, understand that when you create a thought, it's like planting a seed. And when you plant that seed in some form or the other, it's going to grow in you. No thought that you have goes to waste, It stays somewhere in consciousness until you come to some deep sense of realization where a whole amount of love fills up your system, that it softens, absorbs, and almost removes that memory. So, as we are learning more about the human soul, the mind, the conscious mind, houses your thoughts. Your thoughts create your emotions. Emotions can definitely determine how you feel. Now, what happens in the subconscious mind is that something from the past is also very deeply rooted in the recording of the soul. You hear me talk a lot about the sanskaras, the memory track, the impressions in the soul. So your personality, the habits that you have formed, all of that has a very profound influence on the power of your decisions. They also tend to sort of send the vibration of the intention to your conscious mind, which is why some days you'll wake up and you say, I don't feel so good. Nobody bothered you. You just woke up not feeling so happy. That's the subconscious. It was swirling around during sleep. Some energy of the past has come up and it's interfering in your thoughts and emotions and feelings. Then after that is that you have to determine if you're going to act out that emotion or feeling, or you're going to change the way you want to feel. That's all the whole functioning of the soul. Can you imagine? Your intellect has to determine, and it's not with information, it's with knowledge. If you develop the knowledge that what you think, do, say, whatever decision or choices you make, record your personality and your destiny, that's not information, that's wisdom. So your intellect needs spiritual wisdom so that you can have the right kind of a discerning ability to decide what's good for me and what's good for the people in my life. So that's where you make your choices. You have the power to choose how you want to feel, what energies and what thoughts you want to feed. And I think that is so liberating, to actually let you and I know we are in charge of our lives, nobody else. Nobody else has the power to make me feel the way I want to feel. I decide to do that. I, the soul, am solely responsible for being at peace with myself or for losing it. So, your body is what it is. Your body becomes the vehicle, the channel, the costume that you, the soul, the actor, expresses itself with. Today we had such a wonderful day, and hopefully we can show a little bit of the video. Sister Gita was a little bit down today, and we really wanted her to feel happy and get her spirits up, and we know once she dances and sings she'll be fine. So Reverend Sylvia was such a sweetheart. She came by and we just entertained her, and I think you might get a little bit of a glimpse of that later on in the show tonight. So imagine you, the soul, think, you make a decision, and you create a recording. So if you keep getting angry, imagine each time you decide, your intellect decides to get angry, how much you deepen that in your personality and in your subconscious. That against your wish, you will have those thoughts naturally and emotions and feelings of just being angry, and it'll just automatically say, well, just do it. Just yell at her. Yell at him. You know, after a while, you just stop being accountable, right? So you want to make sure that in order to counteract and heal the anger, what does love offer this relationship? What does peace offer this particular moment? It's great questions, right? And if I were to maintain my joy, despite the fact that this isn't really what I want, what would happen? And we always need wisdom, not information. Information, you can get a dime a dozen. Just go on Google. But spiritual vaccine is about wisdom. It's about acquiring a deep sense of wisdom so that your life can be empowered. So with the energy of purity, purity gives you the power to let things go very easily. It's my impurity that holds on to stories of the past. And we end up sometimes holding on to the negative stories rather than the positive stories. And it's just a habit, because we've become more body aware rather than the soul aware. When you're soul aware, you know exactly what's happening with you. When you're soul aware, you're knowledgeable about the cycle of thoughts. When you're body conscious and body aware, you're not checking what these thoughts are saying to you and what the consequences are. You're just driven by decisions and things that you want to feed your senses or your limited vision of things. So that's why the more soul aware you become, the more clearer you can also become. So I hope that made some sense for you. Feel free to put some stuff inside of the comment section. Everyone's enjoying? Informative for you? All right. So you want to transform. What has happened when the anger comes is that from soul awareness, I become very limited in my vision of myself and my relationship and circumstances. I begin to have a lot of fear, and that fear begins to determine the choices that I make. So it becomes angry, I start to have lust, greed, attachment, and ego. You know, the algae that I talk about a lot. And I want you to go back again and look at this. Your position of inner power is expressed with love, peace, joy, wisdom, and purity. When we become less powerful, anger, lust, greed, attachment, and ego become the information, the energy that I begin to make my decisions with. Right? So my intellect is so familiar with the energy of algae that the choices that I make reinforce the intent and the vibration of algae rather than who I really am. So when we're meditating, we're actually becoming more aware and awakened to, well, who am I? I am all of this: love, peace, joy, wisdom, purity. That's what meditation offers you and me. The ability to decide, who do I want to express at this moment? Who's the person that I want to be? And I know sometimes it feels like, why do I have to always be the good one? You aren't always the good one. You think you are, but you're not always the good one. You're making effort to return to your original self. And you'll get way too many opportunities to show this, 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 this. Be patient. It comes and it goes. So the effort, though, is to reduce the influence of algae so that what returns to you is your original nature. Okay? This is who we are. This is exactly who we are. This is what the world wants. It's a person with these qualities. So let's take another moment to think about someone that you admire. Somebody that you might have noticed that they don't get angry. It could be someone you know, it could be a public figure, it could be even a historical figure. And just take a moment and think about someone that you admire for not getting angry. Write down the quality that that person has that you seem to find an affinity to. You feel comfortable with the person. Something that inspires you about the person. Think about why you admire that quality. And please share it in the comments list section if you'd like. So someone you admire, and write down the quality of that person and put it in the comments section. If you have somebody at your home, you can share it with your partner at home. Someone there. Give you a few minutes. what's really important here is about that quality that you admire in that person. I have realized that is the quality I have in myself. And if I can use that quality more and more, it'll strengthen and it will be to my advantage. So what are some of the tools to heal the anger? What are some of the practices that we can participate in? Just to remember a few things. Anger destroys our peace and keeps us from our happiness. Sorry for the typo. We know by now that anger will also destroy our relationships. It damages our health and diminishes our well-being. When we get angry, we are contributing to the collective anger in the world. So the question arises for me, what am I leaving behind for the future generation? That's one of the ways that I have felt what I contribute to the United States of America is peace and love and wisdom and kindness, because I feel the land needs that now more than ever. When people tell me, oh, that's it, I'm done with America, I'm leaving, I'm going back to my country, or if you're born in America, they say, I'm going to go to Canada. I go, well, go. I don't know why. I mean, why would you do that? The country gave so much to you. Now it's going through a rough time. You decide to jump ship? Well, maybe the country doesn't need you then. This is when it needs you the most, is when you can be here to help it, to offer something to it. And that's just the position that I take. I'm not saying that if you don't, it's the right thing. I don't know, I just feel a deep sense of loyalty to relationships and to things. If you've done so much for me, why should I turn my back on you instantly when you might have lost your way for a bit? I don't know, it doesn't work for me. Anyway, that's personal. So as it continues, some more tools. I ask you to observe, okay? Observe, for example, if we can begin to learn to heal the anger by observing ourselves when we start to feel the first seed of irritation. Observe how you're seeing yourself and others. See if you can observe the perfection in a soul as well as in yourself, and try not to focus on what is the weakness of that person, what is your shortcoming. Just observe it, no judgment. And if you really want to have deep insights, keep a journal. So the first thing, remember. Second thing, observe. Remember what anger does to you. Second, start observing. Now accept. Accept the feeling though, but make a concerted decision to respond rather than to react. Make a choice. Because the negative illusions of anger, lust, greed, attachment, and ego aren't the real you. Yes, they're pushing your narrative forward. Yes, the rebel in you is helping to change history. Yes, the rebel is also having people think in different ways. Yes, 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 yes. But at the end of the day, you don't feel so great. So, advice is to curtail that. Reduce it as much as possible. It's because at your core, you are one beautiful, powerful, kind, aware, and pure soul. So, are you ready to ascend and attune? Take your thoughts always to a higher place. Look at the perfect scenario, even if it's not perfect around you. Just visualize it. The story about Santoshi's find today. We've actually had conversations about this latest development, but he didn't see the vision of it. And I had seen it, and I would say, we should put this in the back, but it was like, yeah, it was not there. Today, he ran with that so strongly. He was like, oh my, I got this. And the intoxication was because he was able to take his thoughts to another place than what he was accustomed to. And when you start to make your thoughts or take your thoughts to a higher dimension, something about you comes to life. It's like birth. I know that's painful, even though I've not had any children. But I've heard that it's really a sweet feeling, you know, after that's passed. But you've got to take your thoughts to a higher place. So attune to the best qualities that are inside of you. And make those the foundation of your thinking instead of negative feelings. Yes, the negative thoughts and the negative emotions have found a place inside of the soul. And you feel those easier than you will feel the positive and higher thinking. But what I'd like to tell you is don't give up. Don't give up on those positive and pure thoughts. Eventually, you will start to feel them so powerfully in your system that you're just going to be addicted to that. And when you don't use those thoughts, you'd be like, no, that's not me. So relationships are a laboratory for you to practice experiencing the bliss of your highest self. So some relationships are easy flowing, some are not going to be so easy flowing. We tend to grow faster with the rough relationships. So just to let you know, stuff happens, you know. So you got a little bit of a food for thought, tips to heal the anger, to work on the self. And of course, as you all know, we keep remembering Baba, the Supreme Soul, the ocean of love. And the more we practice meditation, silence, we can learn a lot about who we are. We can experience the soul at a complete and perfect stage. In silence, we can feel a natural connection to one another. And we can also experience our connection to Baba, to the divine. Thank you for that presentation and time together, because I think it was a really important topic. How to heal the anger, don't you think? So I'm going to pause here because I'll be curious to find out if you had any thoughts on your mind, if there's anything that you'd like to share, if you have any questions that might be percolating in your beautiful mind for today. Beautiful, beautiful sharings on YouTube today. Beautiful. Thanks for tuning in today, Kanu. Dr. Kogod, always good to have you. Yes, Laureen, John Lewis, his faith. Elizabeth Parker, you are remembering President Obama's humility. Tina, your grandmother, she was always so sweet and calm. Even if someone was being mean to her, she just radiated peace through that scene. Beautiful. Yesvi, Nelson Mandela had the power to forgive. You emanate that from him. It's a good quality. Letting go is the key in a way that doesn't bottle up within. Yeah, sometimes. It's true. Asmita, Om Shanti. Making a habit of letting go and starting calm, becoming more understanding, accepting rather than expecting, and taking spiritual vaccine daily. Yes, spiritual vaccine hour. Portia, we were remembering you today when we were having fun. Reverend Sylvia did a nice recording today, and I was emanating you, Portia, and I was saying, bravo, bravo, bravo. So on Facebook, when someone is being manipulative, I try to control my anger. Mostly successful, but it doesn't feel good to control it. You know, Asha, this is really important. Can I tell you that, when the manipulation is so obvious and the person is an expert at it too, it affects the deepest part of our egos. That's what I've noticed with people who are very manipulative. And so when you see it, because they're so coy at it, and when you're getting upset and angry, you're ready to let them have it. And then you realize why. And they are in front of you to be a teacher, to clear out any traces of ego that still remains. And what I've learned, because I've been in that situation, is how to raise my self-worth to such a level that they can't even come and play that game with me anymore. And I have found that it became less and less. So I'm not sure if that helped. So relationships are our practical test for our spiritual progress. So true, Asha. Diamond, I admire you too, Diamond. Yes. Yes, it's very, very important for us to really begin to understand our lives at this time, because this pandemic has given us a beautiful opportunity to go inside and to work on ourselves in ways that we've missed, People will sometimes, I'll tell you when I've sometimes felt a little perturbed. It's when people say something about me or accuse me of something. Do you remember 2 weeks ago, Antonia accused me of an order of the washing machine and I wasn't even in the room? I mean, come on, who does that? I mean, look at how you can be accused of things and you're not even there. But all of that is also helping you and me out to get to know ourselves better. Because sometimes people can say the unkindest of things about us. And it's a different kind of anger that you feel. And it can really take you back and you can be like, what is this? I thought I'd show you this little conversation between Michelle Obama and Oprah. I'm with them today because of the new initiative that's out. And I just thought it would be nice for you to just see if you could see yourself in this narrative.
Label that angry black woman. Was that one of the things that knocked you back a bit?
Well, that was one of those things that you just sort of think, dang, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you just sort of feel like, wow, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
You know? And that's the first blowback, because you think, wow, that is so not me. But then you sort of think, well, this isn't about me. This is about the person or the people who write it.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's just the truth.
That's what Maya always used to say to me.
Yeah, it's just so, it's so much about that. And then you start thinking, oh, wow, we're so afraid of each other. You know, color, wealth, these things that don't matter still play too much of a role in how we see one another. And it's sad, because the thing that least defines us as people is the color of our skin. It's the size of our bank account. None of that matters. You know this.
Yes, of course.
You know, it's our values. It's, you know, it's how we live our lives. And you can't tell that from somebody's race or somebody's religion. You know, people have to act it out. They have to live those lives. And so that was the blowback. And then I thought, okay, well, let me live my life out loud so that people can then see and then judge for themselves. And that's what I want young people to do. Just live your life. You know, live it out loud.
Hi, YouTubers. I'm excited.
I just thought that it was important for us to look at that today, because sometimes we can get angry just because of what people are saying about you, even if they don't even know you. I mean, how many of you have been in situations where people are literally gossiping about you and it's nothing like what they're saying? I mean, I've lived through it as an innovator and somebody who is always ahead of the game and moving the goalposts. Is that what they say? Like moving it all the time to make it a little bit better so that we can be better for ourselves. I'm not doing it intentionally. It's just the touchings from Baba. I think because we spend so little time here thinking about what other people are doing or what we think they're going to say about us when we do something. We just don't do that here. We're conditioned. Baba, what's next? Baba, what's our next move? Let's keep going. Baba, I want to be true. I want to be true to myself. I want to be true to you. I want to be true to my Brahma Kumaris community. I want to be true to all of my friends outside of the Brahma Kumaris community. And because I've seen for myself, I've tried so hard in the past to be what I thought would be the perfect mold or the perfect fitting in a community, or being on the path of a spiritual representative or a spiritual leader. And I felt a kind of a sense of hypocrisy in my early 20s. It was like, but I'm not what people think. And I remembered that made me feel, in a way, angry with myself. It was a suppressed anger because I hated not being true to me, because my template is to be true. So how could I come to an awakening and stop being true? So I remembered in my 20s, there was that feeling, this is not me. And when I found that space of courage, which emerged because of my intimate, continuous relationship and communication to Baba, I just felt like I was never going to be alone with whoever Baba was making me, you know? And I didn't feel that energy of anger anymore. It was like, no, but if Baba says I'm okay, and it was that gentle whisper when Baba said to me in the meditation room, I don't need you to be perfect. I just need you to be honest. And that did it for me. Anyway, hope everyone has enjoyed today's session and program. And I don't know, should we show you the video? Huh? Okay, all right. We were going to, Santos says the video doesn't look good. So we're going to try to see if we can get it for you tomorrow, if not another time. I hate that I've enticed you for it. I'm feeling really bad about it. Even if it's low res, can't we just show it? Then it's okay? Okay. You know, he's such an expert. Low res, high res, I mean, you know. So anyway, so Sagita was a little bit low today, and she was just feeling really, really kind of like this the last 2 days. And I'm like, what do we do to help, you know, Sister Gita's energy? And the doctor said she needs to sing, she needs to dance, she needs to write, and she'll be okay. So, I'm not a good dancer, FYI. Even if I ran my 2 nightclubs, I've lost it. Just letting you know. And so when Reverend Sylvia came over, she was so kind to Sister Gita to do something. So the joke goes like this. We couldn't find Sister Gita. So I asked Santosh, where's Sister Gita? She says she went to Miami. What? Went to Miami? Yes, she went to the beach. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go find her. I have to go get her. So we created this scene that we have to go and rescue Sister Gita at the beach in Miami. And what came out of it was this short little dance routine. So listen, I'm going to end the show on this high note for all of you to just have a moment of smiles, a moment of laughter, and just remember, let's try not to take everything so seriously. Let's find a way. There's always a way to solve our situations and circumstances. But like Sister Gita, let's dance, let's laugh, let's just enjoy. Now don't go laughing at me or Reverend Sylvia. Your eyes only needs to focus on Sister Gita. Because this was her day. This was for us to make her happy today. And in the midst of all the things that we were doing today, we found the time to let Sister Gita know we love you. We care for you. And we want you to be okay. All right, so have a wonderful evening, everyone. Hope this makes you smile. I'll see you tomorrow. Lots of love. Take good care.
Yes,